Hello there. So welcome back. Today we are going to make a skirt. It's made of polyester. It has ruffles. Don't want to lift it up too high. Don't want to see my legs. Be scarred for life. And we're using the looper foot. So here we go. Ooh, doo, 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 doo. One of them. I love them. Alright, I'm going to get the camera in position and then we can start sewing. Now I'm using 3/4 metre of fabric, and I have cut 2 strips off the side and I've trimmed all the edges. Now I learned something today. Who knew what that stuff was? It's actually washing instructions. I know. I'm very sad, aren't I? So there's my main bit of cloth. Now everything has pretty much got to be edged except for the top seam with this looper foot. If you haven't used one before, I think you'll be amazed once you get the hang of it. So strip of fabric, right side down, so that I'm sewing on the wrong side. I've put the foot down. I'm going to do a couple of stitches just to keep it all in place, and then literally I'm going to pick it up at an angle so it rolls it. I just think they're so clever. And this way you don't lose the integrity of the fabric, because you want it sort of lightweight and you want it flowing, and this is ideal. But it does mean that you've got to concentrate though. You've got to concentrate, and there's a lot of sewing here. So what I'm going to do is literally run along here. I'm going to do all 4 sides of these little pieces. These are for the ruffles. Now there's no way to go, well there is a way to go around corners. But it's not easy. So what I'm going to do is literally sew on and then sew off. So, there we go. I can tell by the noise of the machine that it's picking up a couple of layers there. Now, with time and experience, I'm sure I could get it 100% right every time. But what I do is I just accept it and maybe do a bit of hand stitching in between. So, okay, that's what I need to do, and I will come back and I will, you know, every time I start the camera I'll start on getting the looper foot started. But all I need to do is all 4 sides of the long bit and the bottom and the sides of the actual main body of the skirt, which is all one material. So, okay, I'm going to push pause and I may even put some leggings on. So I've been busy. I've done the hemming pretty much 90% of it. I'm just finishing off the bottom here, and I'm keeping it taut at the back and keeping it at a nice angle so it sort of gets pulled into the foot, which it does automatically. It's all cut round and curved, so I don't need to help it much, but I suppose it makes me feel better. Who knows? So I'm just coming up to the end here. I don't know if you can hear that it's banging slightly. That's because I've got an extra layer around. Don't ask, don't know why I did that. So I've just got my last one to do. So I'm putting the fabric under, and then I'm sewing, and then I'm turning. You know, if you put too much pressure on it to start with, then it just doesn't work. So all I'm doing now is keeping an eye on it. Now the better you cut this, the easier it is. It just makes life a lot easier. Like, it will handle the odd little lump and bump, but it won't handle much. So slightly. So what I'm going to do is just stop, and even if it means picking up the foot, I'm then going to pick up the foot and then get it all in again. So, and I suppose it's just practice, you know, there's no two ways about it. It is just practice. So I'm coming up to the end now. So it's sewn all the way to the end. Don't know if you can see that. But we know that it didn't sew at this bit. So what we now need to do is, I'm just going to trim it. I'm going to make it as easy for the machine as possible. Is we're going to put it under, this is the rolled bit. My foot's fallen out. There we are. So that's under the foot bit on a sewn, so it's under a hemmed bit that's already hemmed, so that I can get stitching, and then I know I've got my tension right and everything, and then I'm going to fold it round so it literally follows the previous stitches. Good-hearted tug whilst it's going over the previous stitches. So that's all done. That's as neat and tidy as I can get it. I suppose if it's difficult, then what you do is you sew it by hand. You just do all the ends by hand, all the beginnings by hand. So we're all sewn up now all around the long. And I have an overlap of about 4 inches. Now, I don't know if you can remember, but I'm sewing this to the cloth, so I could measure it against myself, but I know it's going to be, I've got that spare. And in fact, I want that spare, because although I want the skirt to have a split, I don't actually want it to be all the way to my navel, do I? So, okay, so I've sorted out how much spare cloth I've got, and I've done that on a fold, and I'm going to top stitch down to a presentable height, so at the top of my thigh. Now you may have noticed that I haven't actually changed the foot. There's no reason to. Unless I pick up one of these, it will just sew flat. So that's about the right length for me. Actually maybe a bit longer. Because don't forget that there's 2 layers of cloth, and then there's the ruffles on top, so it's going to be quite hard to see a bit of flesh, but it's still going to be quite an extreme split. So that's that done. I think I'll do the waistband next. Now I'm only doing quite a loose elasticated waist. I am going to fold it round some elastic. Sorry, I didn't get that out. I forgot this. And probably the best place to start is here for me, so that I can get this in nice and tidy. Lovely. So I'm now the wrong side. I have my elastic, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the cloth to the elastic so it's not coming off. Okay, and then I am going to start sewing my waistband, and just for ease, so that I can see properly, I am changing my foot to a zipper foot. Yes, because I have one. I think the standard height foot, one of those ones, they would be, it would all get stuck up. It would all be a nuisance. So that's what I'm going to do. Lovely. So this is all ready to go. A simple matter of folding once, folding twice, so that it's all tucked in. I'm going to put it in the machine and I'm going to adjust it every 4 inches. But of course you can use pins. So if you want. It just depends what you're happy with, really. I'm more happy doing this than I am doing it with pins. So, let's get this machine sewing. Now, quite simply, I'm going to keep a bit of pressure on the elastic. So, it's a case of sort of fold with this thumb and forefinger and pull with this hand. So, and then it just makes life easier for me. I like to do it all in one go. I think sometimes if you have too many stitches on something, then it can look quite untidy. And of course this is polyester, so I don't want it too busy. It's busy enough without actually stitches on, isn't it? So lovely. A little bit of tension, not too much, and then away I go. Rolling. Yeah, of course I'm making sure that I haven't got any other material caught up. Sometimes it's quite easy to do. You can get like the back of the skirt caught under and start sewing. It's just one of those things, you can't avoid it. Can't help it really. Lovely. I'm just coming up to the end now. So what I need to do is I'm going to leave this long till I get a bit closer, but it is getting a bit more fiddly so that I can keep it tidy afterwards. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go keep my foot down, keep my needle down, lift my foot up, and I'm turning it at a right angle, and I am going left to right, as it were. Alright, I'm still going up and down, but I've moved it. That's just so that my elastic has got a really good firm base, because I could have just pulled it through and done a knot, but that can be a bit uncomfortable, you know, after, if you're going to wear this for a long amount of hours. If you're going to wear it to work, or you're going to wear it to a wedding or something. So, there we are. I've got lots and lots of threads there. But that is the basic skirt. And there's the split. Oh, how risky is that? All the way up there. Okay, so now we're going to work on the ruffles. Now there's loads of ways to do ruffling. You can do it on a sewing machine if you've got a sewing machine with a walker foot. You could even do elastic. You could do the same technique and just run it along. Or you can use a needle and thread. I'm going to use a needle and thread because this way I can control exactly how much gather I want, because I don't want too much gather at the bottom and the top, but I do want it there anyway. And I think it's safe to say everybody knows how to do this. So, and the nice thing about doing it with a needle and a thread is you can get the ruffles quite large, if that makes sense. Whereas on this skirt, where I've done it with elastic, it's actually, you know, they're quite small. They go in and out at a sort of 1/8 of an inch, whereas I think I would prefer in and out at 1/4 of an inch. So now we know that this is the full length of the skirt, so this is 3/4 of a metre. I'm sorry, I don't know how to translate that. I try to work in inches, but obviously it's quite difficult when you're buying the fabric in metres. So yes, please bear with me. I am coming towards the end. I'm not quite such a slow starter. One thing I would recommend is that you use a contrasting coloured thread. Now, yes, nice bright red would work on most fabrics, but obviously black works as the contrasting colour for my ruffles. And there we are. Now what I do need to do is I do need to get these to the length of the split. So what I'm going to do is just come to the end here, and I'm going to place the split there, and I'm going to use that as a measure, because everything is guesstimated, isn't it, really, with me? I sort of educated guess, and I'm going to put a knot in there just to keep that level. So that's me done. I did the other one off camera so that I don't waste your time with boring bits. Now what we now need to do is we now need to sew the ruffle onto the skirt. So I'm going to sew it on one side's going to be from the bottom and one side's going to be from the top. So let's measure that they're sort of the same. There we go. Yes. So they need to be the same, don't they? There we go. And then that's that. And I'm not even going to check which seam this is, but I'm just going to get on with it, really. So I need the right side to the right side, and I think it would look nicest if I have so I sew halfway. That's why I sewed, when I did sew with the hand sewing, I gave myself quite a 1/2 inch so that it would be in line. Now I've put my zipper foot on, as you know, and this is going to be ideal for this because I'm going to be able to see so that I can turn in this bit of the ruffle and sew along the black thread. So let's get that done. Now I'm not saying that this isn't going to be tricky. It is, you know, you just have to not pull your ruffles and keep an eye on the hairline of the seam. So, but it's really worthwhile. All I can think about saying is Bridget Jones, right? The film. I don't know if you've watched it. Have you ever seen the Vickers and Tarts Party? That's what it reminds me of, this skirt. But it is very easy to wear, and it is something different. There's nothing worse than turning up to a wedding and finding that you're all wearing the same suit or something. So And what could be wrong with wearing roses, eh? So, just keeping an eye on my ruffles. I am coming in a bit, but as soon as I notice that I'm doing something like that, I'm just sorting myself out. And I'm making sure that it's not too tight as well. There we are. So I'm just coming to the end, and then I am going to start the other one, but obviously I am going down to up. Now, because these are ruffles, you never really know how many levels of fabric you're sewing through. I'm going to make sure that if there is any hem edges that I have missed in my last scourge, then I'm going to make sure they're on the outside so that I can trim them. And it should be quite as simple just to pull out this black thread. Yes, I can do that in my own time. So that's what we're left with. Ruffles with the outer edge showing, and not too small and not too big. So let's grab the other hem. Now, in a way this is easier because there's a nice firm, this is where you start from. So I'm going to put it up right side, and I'm going to put this down from the right side so that they're both lovely. And there we are, couple of thread stitches. I wouldn't want it to fall apart whilst you're wearing it. Unless it's a very exciting wedding or summer barbecue. So here we go. Lovely. I'm just tucking in the other side. I'm just putting a little bit more through the black cotton. And there we are, pretty much done. Unthreaded the machine with that exercise. So there we are. I'm going to keep this underside on the inside, as it were. And there we go. And a couple of stationary stitches just to keep it all together. So let's see how much you can see. So there we are, a summer skirt ready for the party season, for barbecues, with lots of taggly ends. So that's my next job. I'm literally going to sit here and I try and do it all in one go. I suppose it might be interesting, I don't know, you know. I always start from the bottom, work up, give it a good shake, turn it round, turn it inside out, do it all again, and then give it another good shake. And then even when I first wear it, I will always find one piece of cotton hanging down. I don't know, it must drive everyone mad that sews. And could you imagine, yes, working, your job is doing scraggy end bits. So yes, that's me done. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting. And yes, get sewing. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching.